Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the reading called The Book of Revelations and Self-Empowerment, lesson number 5. So lesson number 5, actually, the message came to me just as soon as I woke up this morning, and it's going to be a blessing in disguise, or the blessing in disguise, meaning something looks one way today, but later on it's going to look completely different. It will look like something maybe is not so favorable, or even possibly negative, or something didn't go according to plan, but that's happening for a reason. So meaning that the blessing in disguise will come later. It's the gift down the road that you just didn't expect to show up in the way or the circumstance that it did. So the blessing in disguise, or a blessing in disguise. Okay, so I do want to say for this reading particular that's happening this day is we have Mercury stationing direct motion, which is a very, very high impact energy day, which things become clear. Clarity comes, the confusion, misunderstanding goes away, it fades away. And it's also about moving forward and, a little smoother flow, things picking up, the speed picking up, the pace picking up, things falling into place finally after a duration of kind of like a stall or stagnation, or things just did not work out. So here we go. We move forward today. The other thing I want to point out, and it's not going to matter whenever you see this reading, it will still apply with the same kind of energy, but this particular day, not only do we have Mercury stationing direct motion, but we also have a Venus opposition Uranus. That's a hard one. That's unexpected events. It's chaos. It's surprise. Unexpected people showing up. It's unstable, unpredictable energy. It's rebellion energy, and it's revolution energy. It's the shake up, the shakedown that breaks things loose, that breaks things free. And it's also the Great Awakener. Uranus is always the Great Awakener. It's always related to the sky god. And it's also the higher octave of Mercury, which means it's the higher mind, the higher messages, connection with the divine, okay, or the cosmos. Okay, so when we have an opposition, that's tough. So when the blessing in disguise came in, it's an unexpected problem, hurdle, like it's an unexpected event in any way, shape, or form. So that really fit quite nicely with when I woke up today's lesson number 5 of a blessing in disguise. So unexpected problems or hurdles you can expect today, okay? But it's later down the road, it pans out quite well. So this particular reading, when I drew these cards, I always draw the cards a little bit early because I like to sit with them and kind of contemplate on them and just kind of get the energy off them. So this is probably one of the best spreads I've had in a very, very long time for this particular reading. This tends to be the shadow side or the dark side reading because, realistically, we all have our issues and nothing is perfect. Nothing goes according to plan for the most part. And so this is dealing with and acknowledging and finding resolutions and solutions to put a close to the hard or the dark or the shadow times, moving on to new, better times, new cycles. Okay, so that's kind of where this was born from. But this has been one of the nicest spreads, like I said, and in a long, long time. So when these cards started flipping up, I'm like, okay, this is really nice because this is very gift oriented, is very resolution oriented, and it's part of the journey. But it brings in change. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the cards first of all, and then we'll take it from there. So I do want to say these two cards fell out. Actually, this one flipped out and it shot out of the deck on the floor, and I had to go retrieve it. I stuck it back in, but when this one came out, I went and dug it back out of the pile because really it's meant to be. So we have card number 45, Prosperity. Nice card, beautiful card. So that's the first one. And then this was the second one that popped out, card number 44, Blessings. Okay, so 44 is an 8. So this is the Blessings card. So you couldn't get two better cards out of the whole deck to fly out for gifts, abundance, good luck, prosperity, health, anything finally going in your favor. And this one came out, which there is only one card in this deck, and it's a fairly big deck, this card. So it's resolution. And so this is like instinctive. This is a wolf. And if we notice in the background that huge, huge moon. So this particular reading can be tied to the lunar cycles. And on the full moon, so I just wanted to say we do have a moon cycle coming up here on the 4th of December. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. So do pay attention to that. So I do believe that's going to be is it the full moon? Anyway, it's the moon cycle in Sagittarius. Okay, so this, I will read this to you. So the resolution, whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. Again, so that really, really confirms that unexpected event or that blessing in disguise. It's not how it looks. And then we have the card of journey, be adventurous. So this is I'm not going to say enjoy the cycle in life and certain journeys, because some of them are certainly not enjoyable. But it's honoring the journeys in life. And we all have a different journey, a different path in life, right? So honoring it, learning from it, and moving forward with it. And this one actually says be adventurous. So this is kind of like be willing to change in your journey in life, okay? Another nice card. And this card is change is a part of life. Learn to embrace it, enjoy it, and roll with it. Without change, we would never evolve, grow, or mature. Okay? So again, this is a card number 5. And so ironically, anytime you see the word change or anything to do with change, that always indicates a number 5. And this happens to be the book of Revelations and self-empowerment, lesson number 5. Okay. And the journalist, this one flipped out too. This one flipped out as I was doing the pre-shuffle, and then wouldn't you know it flipped out again. So always when those cards are meant to be, they will come out. Doesn't matter how many times you stick them back in the deck, they will come out. So the journalist. So this is about news or information, and it's about documenting, writing things down, reading things. Okay, so the journalist, this particular card says chronicler of stories, reporting, interview, inquiry, or promotion. And so, believe it or not, 3 of these cards indicate journaling and documenting. Okay, and it's with a book, writing it down, making notes. Okay, so this particular card, this is card 26, and this is a pile of books. It's a book upon a pile of book upon a pile of book, and it's opening a book. It's about study. It's about knowledge. It's about learning and finding your answers in a book, okay? And again, journaling and documenting, that's going to be very important. There is something I want to point out here, and this is the first thing when all this journaling and reading and writing and looking things up and finding books that are going to help you with your journey on forward and looking for answers in a book. So when this came up, it just made me think that whatever situation you're in, so often this can be domestic, right? It can be relationship issues, those kind of things. So it is very vitally important that you document it, you write it down, you journal out the actions that are taking place behind closed doors, whether it's you're together behind closed doors. Now, whether that be, and when I say document, everything, dates and times matter. So that's going to have to do with court proceedings, those kind of things. So document, and this would indicate bad or negative behavior, unacceptable behavior going on behind closed doors. This could be, behind closed doors, living together yet, or in separation, parting ways, or in legal proceedings of like a divorce or separation, something like that. So this is where, when you document it, this is where will be the blessing in disguise after the fact. You write down what's going on, and if it ever hits the court or court stages, or where documentation is required to read by a third party, or within legal proceedings or people of authority for legal, whether lawyers, judges, courts, whatever, that is going to be vitally important. So do document everything. So when this kept on coming up, so this one here, the abundance and prosperity cards, they do represent, and they do have the reference to document and writing things down in a book, okay? This one here, journalist, again, that's writing things down, looking things up, journaling things. And this one here, right back to journaling and documenting. So we have that, 2, 3, 4 times over. And so that is going to be part of your resolution, okay? So it's very, very important that you do that, okay? And again, it's, so should that be the case where you would be documenting and journaling the daily behaviors and things going on, dates and times, and do be sure to put down the date and time, because that will be vital. It's unpleasant now, or it's unacceptable negative behavior going on now, which is, that's certainly not pleasant by any means, but that's going to be your resolution, your ticket to freedom, or your ticket out, or proving something, saying something and doing something behind closed doors doesn't always make it believable if it's documented. And when I say documented journaling, documented writing it down, that can also be audio or those kind of recordings, or recorded in any way, shape that would be deemed fit, okay? And lots of times you will see it can be video too. So it can be something going on, a behavior or somebody doing something where it's videoed, and that would be definitely proof in the pudding. Okay. Okay. So this particular reading, like I said, it's pretty good. It's the best one we've had in a long, long time. But it basically points to resolution answers and pathways for resolution is basically what it is. And for the most part, not often does this ever show up. And so this can also have to do with health and wellness and healing. Okay, so every time you see prosperity and abundance, or blessings rather, it doesn't always mean money, monetary, those kind of things, or material goods, but it certainly can. So there can also be blessings and prosperity and health and healing. So apply that accordingly, or that can actually be both. Okay. So again, this can also leads me to a message of finding something in a book, like somebody stored a piece of paper, or there's some sort of documentation inside the cover of a book or in the pages of this book. When you see this, there is a book of relevance. So there's probably something, maybe somebody wrote something down, put a slip of paper in there. You might be looking for it. If you're looking for something, it's in this book. So physically, like a piece of paper or like a Post-it note or something, or there could actually be a message written inside the cover. Whatever you're looking for is inside this book. And so you might have to look things up. You might have to study some things to find some answers, but your answers are always back to this book. So when this card comes up, it speaks of having the card to the right of it, which we do not have a card to the right of, but I might pull one before we're done at the end of the reading, because it indicates you might be finding something out, and is always relevant to the card that's to the right hand side of it. So we'll see what happens. So when we look at this to the left hand side of it, we have the journalist. So that means, again, journaling, or it could be even going to buy a journal to journal stuff or document stuff in. Okay. Or somebody might be gifting you a book or a journal to journal or document things in, write it down. And that can include taking pictures of things as well, because that's also a documentation as well. And remember, with every picture file, there's a date and a time that goes with that. So that's in the information file with each photo, okay? That's a digital photo, that is. Okay, so this, and again, you might be finding out something from somebody. So when you go this way with this book, that means it's an open book, and there's about information that you're going to find out about somebody or something that you just did not know. And when you find this out, and like a journalist is somebody who speaks, it's someone who speaks out, tells people things about news, information. It's communication in any way, shape, or form. And when you have the book, when it opens up, it means there's going to be a release of news or information, something you had no idea about. But when that surfaces, it's a game changer. All of a sudden, things change. Okay. And again, we have change. And the change in life is something you've been contemplating for quite some time, I would say, right? This is not something that happened overnight. It's evolved over time. And every time you're looking for a way out or a culmination or finish to a cycle in life, that always involves change. So it's something you've been thinking about for a while, contemplating for a while, and trying to find out answers and resolutions to get out of this cycle. It's a hardship. When we do the book of Revelations and self-empowerment, these are always trying to get out of that shadow side or that shadow energy or that shadow cycle in life. So this will stem from something negative or a hardship or being very weighed down, very hurdle oriented. So apply that accordingly. So again, the change is here. Whatever happens, again, that blessing in disguise, you find something out. And it changes absolutely everything. So, it can make your transition much, much easier. Or it can be somebody that is going to tell you something that's of great value or very, very valuable. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And I want to mention, okay, so we have a couple numbers that are going to be very relevant. So it's going to be 15, okay, and the number 5. So that can be single fives, double fives, but probably triple fives. So do pay attention to what's going on if you see these numbers. And something else that's going to be very prevalent is going to be the number 8. So that can be number 8 single or 88, because we do have that here. And 88 is always a number of prosperity, blessings, and abundance, okay? And again, this is part of a journey and the journey of change. And most people would prefer not to have change, because that would mean, change means work. Change means acknowledgement, right? And people get comfortable with just the way things are and kind of get stuck in that stagnant energy. And so we will tend to tolerate things a lot longer than what we should have because it's a comfort zone. And making a change, making a move, doing something different, that's entering into the zone of the unknown. And most people are not too comfortable with that. But when we're looking at this is very encouraging because this is saying do a change because it will end up in growth, and you will evolve and you will mature, and it is part of your journey. And so change and means being adventurous on your journey. So it's not just about finding the end result. It's about learning from the experience of the journey that you're going through. And I'm not going to say enjoying because a lot of these things are not enjoyable, but it is part of life. We are all on our soul's path. We all have our own journey, our own path in life we need to follow. So take it as it lands. Sometimes that can be professional to do with, hardships in jobs or careers, or most often it's relationships. That's more so where these tend to go. But everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story path and a journey to live and to learn. And that's part of our karmic reasons and karmic cycles for being here. And often when we overcome these hardships, that often means that those are the things we found. Well, first of all, we awaken to, we become aware, and we become aware we need to do something about it. And when we do something about it, we learn how to resolve, we learn how to fix, we learn how to move on. And that is kind of our job, to pass that on to somebody else who needs that information, who needs that help. So if this isn't you, you could actually be this person who's went through this cycle, who's went through this experience. You've gained the wisdom, you've gained the knowledge, you've gained the experience, and you're stepping in to help somebody else. So this could be you with this problem, this issue, or you could be the person stepping in to help someone with the same or very, very similar circumstances in something they're experiencing, like with a person or a partner or a relationship. And remember, lots of times they're called karmic relationships, and these are the relationships we're all entered into life that we need to learn that life lesson. And so that's part of the history, and that's part of the cycle of everybody's life. So if you ever look at a birth chart, that's a very good example. The birth chart tells a story of each individual person. And so when you look at that, you will always encounter karmic cycles, karmic relationships. That's something we need to learn, we need to conquer, we need to overcome. Because if you don't, you will repeat that same cycle in the next lifetime. That's how that works. Okay, that's kind of how the stories go, right? And so when you conquer that and you put an end to that, then you move into the next life or lifetime, kind of with the cleared karma and clearing karmic cycles. So this can actually, often when these readings come up, this will be a rinse repeat of past life or generational karma that keeps on carrying forward from one generation to the next. So you can have parents that went through and experienced the same thing. You can have grandparents that went through and experienced the same thing, and it will follow karmic cycles in families. So that's what they'll call it, karmic family cycles that keep repeating generation after generation after generation. Eventually, you will hit that one person in that family, a family member that will acknowledge, and they will become aware of the situation, and it's a repeating pattern in history in their family, and that's how they begin to overcome it. So they'll always say there's like that one black sheep that will put an end to that karmic cycle. And so we do have that here. And like I said, this is one of the best readings we've had in a very, very long time when I've done these, because often it will raise awareness to the shadow side, the shadow cycle going on, but it often does not indicate resolution. This one has resolution written all over it. So because we have prosperity. So this is good things coming. That is also manifesting abundance and prosperity and resolutions, conclusions, with a little bit of good luck behind it, right? So again, this is a lot of universal energy stepping in to help you, and this is going to come with blessings, right? So when blessings are going to come in as part of the answers, and there's going to be blessings after this comes in. So, and marked and honored with blessings after the cycle is complete. But this is right full of resolutions, like 1, 2, 3, and it comes by information, news from somebody or something, and something to do with this book or this study. And when we see this can also indicate, when you see prosperity and blessings, this particular one says promotion. So you could actually be getting a promotion or being promoted in your job career, or becoming more well-known, more sales involved with those kind of things. Maybe you're selling things, or you might be someone who is on social media, but it gets bumped up. Or you might be getting a gift A monetary gift, that's very possible when we have prosperity and blessings coming in. So being amped up, taking a step up, being promoted, moving into something a higher status, or a higher title, or being more known on a more worldly, global, or public scale for whatever you do. And this, when you see a book, you might actually be writing a book or writing material or content that becomes helpful to somebody else on the global scale. That's possible too. This book is very, very important. You know what? And I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to move this right down here. And we're going to pull 2 cards because it always indicates in this guidebook, there's something to the right of it that's what you will find out. It's got high impact in this reading. So I'm actually going to pick 2 cards. I'm going to pick 1 card from here, and we'll put it to the right-hand side, and we'll see what you are going to find out what you need to know. Okay, this is got to do with money and material and earthly goods, property. This can have to do with money and finances. And again, that can be prosperity and that can be blessing. So this is also a new start. And whenever you see the Ace of Coins, which is a beautiful card, that will mean you're going to find news or information. If someone's going to tell you something that's either going to link to money or a new start or a new cycle in life, or it could be the winning of money or material goods, or this can be news of that new start just leading off. Okay, so that's always in the material 3D realm. Anytime you see that Pentacles. Earthly goods or earthly matters. There we go. Okay. This is a separation. Huh. Okay. So that indicates a new start after a separation. Separation is not the end. Okay. So this tells me there could actually be somebody else involved here. So when we have this is a new cycle. And so this would indicate to me that there's going to be maybe somebody else in the background that you're maybe interested in. So this is like putting a close to one cycle and opening up a new cycle. So we have a new cycle opening up, but you've been separated from a soulmate or a twin flame or somebody you're interested in. So you've been time apart. So when they say soulmate or twin flame and separation, this has been a parting of the ways for a while, okay? This is interesting. So there's that new cycle, but this is, again, this is kind of a weird reading. This is going 2 different ways when we put this down. Or this can be news. This could actually be news when I referred to finding out about something that totally is a game changer. So this could be you, but on the other side of this card, this could actually be you finding about somebody with your partner, whomever you're in this karmic cycle with, which is not working. This is like issues behind closed doors or living in separation behind closed doors. But this could be like you finding out that your partner, whoever you're in the karmic partnership with, so whether it's marriage or common law, has somebody in the background. There's a third-party interference or somebody that person is seeing. And when you find that out, that becomes the game changer, right? You might not have known about this. So if we're going to go link back to a blessing in disguise, that could mean you could find out somebody has been having a third-party involvement or engagement with somebody else. But as soon as you find that information out, it makes a complete game changer. So it's not really the greatest news you find out, but it's needed, it's required. But when you find that out, it's a game changer for your whole situation, and that would be your ticket out of this situation. So this has not been the best relationship going on. But again, so that could be you having somebody else in mind, but it could also be your partner you're with finding out something's been going on in the background. And as soon as you find that out, that becomes a game changer. That's your ticket out. That's your great awakener. That is your blessing in disguise. So when I always refer to blessing in disguise, it means like it's not the greatest news, or when you find something out, you think, oh God, really? Like I just did not see that coming, or it blows me away, and you're kind of upset about it. But then you give it a few days to a week, and it's like, you know what? That's probably the best thing that ever happened in the world, because now all of a sudden it can be freedom oriented. And every time we have Uranus involved, that becomes revolutionary energy, right? She's a game changer. It's an eye opener. It's the great awakener, and it creates that revolution. But it's always about shock, surprise, chaos first, right? And we have an opposition involved. That's exactly what it means. Unexpected news that I did not see coming, but in a week or 2 or down the road, it's the blessing in disguise. Okay, so that's a very interesting set of cards, and I'm going to pull another one. I'm going to pull something. I'm going to. Oh yes, yeah. Okay, I wanted to clarify the separation again. This is got to do with fighting. So this has got to do, this is going to be conflict. Again, this basically confirms there's something going on in the background with the person you're involved with. You're going to find something out that leads to that new change, that new, if somebody was skidding their feet about separation or divorce or not wanting to sign papers or trying to hold things up, whatever you find out here with that other person is going to make things happen in lightning speed. That's your resolution. When we have the 501s, that's fighting, that's war, that's competition, that's hot, fiery tempers. And this has got to do not only with your separation, so you might be living together, but you're actually living in separation, or you might be actually physically separated, but there's been war, there's been fighting going on, conflict. And again, that tells me you're probably going to find out something you're not very happy about. Take it in stride. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy to say, but I mean, take it in stride, because chances are, even if you're upset about finding out somebody was in the background with the karmic partner you're with, if you're living in separation, does it really matter anyway? Look at in more of a positive light. They did you a favor. Whoever this person is, let them take that person, and they can deal with the problem. It's like, again, the blessing in disguise. It can be very upsetting, but change it to a positive view or a positive outlook where it actually is the answer to your problem. It did you a favor, and it is your ticket out, right? So try to change your mindset. And chances are, if this was going on probably a while, this can be anywhere from 5 months to 5 years. If this was going on, chances are you would have suspected it for a while and maybe brushed it off. But realistically, when this goes on, you kind of have a red flag indication, that deep within that gut knowing, that intuition. So, I mean, just think of it that way. And chances are, you know what, this is probably not a relationship you'd want to recover anyway. So it does you a favor in the end anyway. So, give it the honor it deserves. Take it, leave it, good enough. It does you a favor in the end. Wow, what an interesting reading. Kind of crazy. Yeah, okay, so this tells me you're going to be upset when you find out. But you know what? Again, this is a perfect card. It just basically confirms what I just told you. You can be upset, you can have sadness and feeling and disparity, a loss of love, like very, very disappointed. This is the card of disappointment. And so this here is sadness, disappointment, regret. This can also involve anger. But see, here, it just basically confirms what I just said. It's not going to be news that you're going to be happy about finding out, but it does you a favor in the end. And in the end, chances are the trust and the respect and the love and the want and the need to be with this person probably long over and done with. So it's okay. It needs to take its course. Let it take its course and move on. So every time we see this is the sadness, the disappointment, the regret, those kind of things, upset, angry. But if you look in the background, these two cups are always lit up. So that is your kind of your hope, your shining light. There is a new cycle coming in. And also, again, take it with a positive attitude. It probably did you a favor in the end anyway. And if you look at these two cards, they're both fives. One's a 5 of wands, and one is the 5 of cups. And so again, change. So that is like the third time we have changes coming in. So whatever goes on here is going to bring great change. It's going to be a complete revolution and a renewal in a new cycle. And again, when I see these two cups, often that can indicate to me that there is a twin flame or somebody out there for you, or that soulmate connection. So the 2 of cups together is always the soulmate connection. So there is somebody that's bigger, that's brighter, that's there for you. And I have a feeling that there could be people on both sides of this. So if you're in that karmic relationship, you could be interested in somebody in the background, but your other person is also interested, but you're going to find out about that in kind of like a bit of an unexpected or chaotic way. But when we see these 2 cups that are standing upright rather, and that means there is love, there is happiness, there is pleasure, there is joy, but you need to move on. And you always see the sun shining on these 2 cards, which is quite lovely. And again, that 2 of cups, to me, as soon as I see this, there is a twin flame or a soulmate connection for you after you leave this cycle behind. Again, the sun is shining brightly, it's shining warmly, it reflects the golden light of happiness, joy, and pleasure. So whatever's been going on here for you has not been a good situation for a very long time. And because we have now 3 5s that flip up, this could be going on 5 months to 5 years, actually to 10 years and beyond. And sometimes, you just have to give it up and move on. The longer you hang on, the more miserable it gets. And again, if you're not completing those negative karmic cycles, especially if they're repeating karmic cycles in family history or generational karma, that's something you probably should sit down and just maybe have a ponder and think about. Has this been repeating over and over in my family history and generations? Probably. And when you have that awareness, all of a sudden everything changes. It's like, when you find this out, might be upset, but you know what? That's okay. Wish it well, send it love, and let it go. You're not here to fix anybody else, because that's not your job. It's not anybody's job to fix another. You do you, they need to do them. That's all an individual. That's a self job. That's an inner job we all need to work on in our journey called life. We all have those shadow spots, those shadow areas, and those are the things we need to acknowledge and conquer and fix and roll with it and move on. Learn those lessons, take that wisdom, that experience, and take it with us on our forward path. Again, so you might be the person helping somebody here, or you might be the person who needs the help and you're working on this situation. So take it as it lands, okay? So that will conclude our reading for today. And again, the book of Revelations and self-empowerment. This is lesson number 5, a blessing in disguise. Do honor it. And before you get upset and fly off the handle or be very, very emotionally charged, do think about what I just said. A blessing in disguise. Sit with that, ponder that, meditate with that, and really think about the outcome and what the positive things that this can do for you, because it will, okay? So that will conclude our reading for today. This is a really, really upheaval, chaotic energy reading, but it's got so much good around. And again, it's going to fall around the lunar cycles. Again, the Gemini moon on, I believe, December 4th at 13 degrees. So again, lunar cycles. So that could take us right through to the lunar cycles and working with them in the month of December 2025. And if you happen to see this reading later on, just never mind the dates, just go with the energies that I've just described, because it will be identical, okay? So I will close the reading. And so until we talk again, stay happy, stay healthy, take care of yourself and take care of each other. And bye for now. And I will just put a little thing out there for my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel, and click like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost nothing. This channel, Midnight Bisous Tarot, Bisous is Bisous. I have Seventh Heaven Junk Drawer, that's on YouTube. And I also have just a new Soup to Nuts Astrology plus Health and Anatomy, that's also YouTube. I have 2 Facebook groups, Midnight Bisous Tarot and Oracle, and Midnight Bisous C'est La Vie Astrology, Jump Into Its Rhythm. And I do have an Etsy shop, Midnight Bisous Tarot and Oracle, and I have an eBay shop, Midnight Bisous Tarot, Oracle, and Astrology. Anyway, bye for now. Have yourself a great week, and we will chat again in a week from now.